friends, it's Rachel. I am here at my garden today and I have some sweet potatoes to plant. So I thought it might be fun to give you a tour of what I'm growing in my gardens this summer and show you how I plant sweet potato slips. A sweet potato slip is just a baby sweet potato plant. It is just a little cutting of the sweet potato vine that has some roots on it. And it doesn't look like much now, but this little baby will spread out and get big, and it'll grow so many yummy sweet potatoes to eat. So I'm really excited about planting these. Let me show you my garden bed and the space I'm gonna put them. So there is my garden bed. I am in a community garden, so that means I share this garden space with so many other people. Everyone has their own bed that they get to grow whatever they want, and then we have some beautiful fruit trees and herbs and other plants that we help each other take care of, and we get to eat all the fruit. So I really love it here. It's amazing, and I get to meet so many nice neighbors. Do you know if your neighborhood has a community garden? If it does, you should check it out. So in my garden bed, I built a trellis. A trellis is basically anything that your plants can grow up and that will help support them as they get bigger. So I have 2 tomato plants down here that are pretty small right now, but eventually they will get big and tall, and they'll get lots of fruit on their branches. And when that happens, the top of this plant is going to get really heavy. So I'm going to tie it to my trellis so that it doesn't fall over when it gets heavy. I'm also going to tie up my cucumbers. This is one of my cucumbers here. And it is also a big long vine like a sweet potato. And it would grow along the ground, but a lot of vines like to have something to grow up so they can grow up towards the sun. So hopefully by having my cucumbers grow up this trellis, it'll make them nice and happy and healthy. Right here, I planted some bean seeds. They haven't sprouted yet, but you can see where I planted the seeds because I stuck little sticks in the ground. That way I wouldn't forget where they were, and I can remember to give them water. And then these plants laying just on the soil, not planted yet, are all of my sweet potatoes. This side, I'm gonna plant an orange sweet potato variety. And on this side, I'm gonna plant a Japanese variety that will probably be either white or purple. I'm not exactly sure which. But let me show you how I plant them. So, this little baby just needs a small hole for its roots to spread out in, and then I'll press the soil back down around it. Doesn't need to be a very big hole, and my soil is nice and loose, so I'm just gonna use my hand. This is kind of hard to do with just one hand, but let's try it. Okay, so now my hole's filled back in. All my roots are covered. I'm just gonna pat him in. I wanna make sure that each sweet potato plant has enough space to spread out its roots and get lots of water and nutrients. So I'm giving them about 1 foot to 2 feet of space in between. Maybe I'll make this hole a little bit deeper. There we go. That's 2 down. Only about 10 more to go. Let's see if I can fit them in this one bed. Well, that was not too hard. That just took me a couple of minutes, and now I've got almost all of them planted. I think they're gonna be really happy in their new home. actually have a couple extra that aren't gonna fit in this garden bed. So let me show you my other garden bed. Let's see if we have some room to put the rest of the sweet potatoes. You can see I built the same kind of trellis in this one too. The plants in this garden bed I planted a long time ago, so they have gotten a little bit bigger. I've got some basil, lettuce, some peppers, parsley, some turnips, and then I've got all my tomato plants in the middle. Let me show you some of my tomatoes that are growing. I can't wait for them to turn red. At least I think these are gonna be red. These might actually be purple tomatoes. One of the fun things about growing your own tomatoes is that there are so many different kinds you can grow. Usually at the grocery store you see some little red ones and some big red ones, maybe some yellow ones too. But in the garden you can grow so many different kinds. I've got some that are bright orange, some that are gonna turn white, some that will be red, and some that will even be like kind of brownish purple. So I'm so excited to see my rainbow tomatoes come in. Over here, I've got more tomatoes, and I've got some beets. Let's pull one up. Wiggle, wiggle. So just like sweet potatoes, the part of a beet that we usually eat is the root that grows under the ground. But did you know that you can eat the leaves of beets and sweet potatoes? A lot of people in Asia actually grow sweet potatoes for the leaves instead of the roots. I thought that was really interesting. So when my sweet potatoes grow this summer, I'm gonna try eating the leaves. I heard you can stir fry them, and that's pretty tasty. I like to stir fry the leaves of my beets too. Over here I have more basil and lettuce and a cucumber that's got a little baby cuke on it already. I can't wait to eat this little guy. So it actually looks like my garden bed over here is pretty full, and I'm not sure I'll have room for a big sweet potato, but I am gonna harvest these beets soon. So maybe what I can do is plant the sweet potatoes around the edge of the beets, and then when I harvest all the beets, sweet potatoes will have room to grow. We'll try it anyways. My garden is a big science experiment. I never know exactly what's gonna happen, but I can make a good guess. Did you guys know that the sweet potatoes we eat are a root? They're a special kind of root called a tuber, just like white potatoes. There are so many yummy roots that we eat, and you could grow sweet potatoes yourself. All you need is a sweet potato from the grocery store. This often works better with organic sweet potatoes because sometimes grocery stores put a chemical on them so that they won't sprout new leaves. So try buying an organic one and this will probably work. You can plant your sweet potato from the store in a pan of soil. You only want the soil to cover the bottom half of the sweet potato, and the top half is out in the air. You could also put it in a jar where half of it's covered in water and half of it's not. And after a couple of weeks, your sweet potato should grow roots and new leaves and stems. They'll come just right out of the root. It's pretty amazing. And what you can do then is you can, when the stem gets nice size like this, you can pinch it off of the sweet potato root and put these in a glass of water so that they'll grow roots. You could probably just plant this in soil without roots, and that's what I'm gonna do with this one. It doesn't have too many roots on it, but I like to watch the roots grow, so I would like to put them in water. And then when they have roots like this, then it's definitely ready to go out into your garden. They like to be planted in full sun, and they like hot, hot days. So now is a really good time to plant your sweet potatoes because it's probably not going to get too cold anymore. Although we'll see. So friends, I hope that you try growing sweet potatoes at home, or just have a new appreciation for this amazing plant. I will see you next week, friends. Thanks for joining me.